Hey guys, I really hope you enjoyed that. And to be honest, I'm saying so primarily because I haven't even opened the footage on my computer yet, let alone seen any sort of edit. At this point, I really just hope that the footage is good enough to warrant the rest of this video. That being said, I wanted to take the opportunity to discuss a little bit of this production, talk about the set, the lighting plan, the shot list, and the costs associated with it. So first things first, this is actually our office. If you didn't recognize it, you can see this wall in the background of my most recent YouTube videos. We just sort of flipped the camera around. Instead of going to and renting a location, we decided to keep costs low, just do it here and dress up the set so it looks like a bar. Our friend Choice, the bartender in the video, actually works at a restaurant and he brought in some glassware, which is why there's some parts missing right now. So this is the establishing shots, the very first shot you see in the video. Off to the sides, we added some plants to add to that tropical vibe, but also whenever we come in at an angle for those close-ups, we can hide the office with those plants. Sweet, let's talk about the lighting setup. So let's make our way to the front of the office and then we'll walk back and I'll discuss all the lights that we've set up along the way. So over here we have the newer RGB 60, which is a light that I've made a whole video on. If you're looking for a cheap light, that's a great one to have. On it, we have an aperture spotlight mount, which is a light modifier, which allows us to add a little bit of texture. Essentially what it's doing is it's providing that blue stuff in the background. With all the glassware, it just gives a lot of shine and provides more texture to the background. Over here, we have two Arri Studio 1000s. They're both Fresnel lights and they're both 3200 Kelvin. And on them, there are barn doors, which are essentially beaming the light onto the bottles and the fruit. The idea behind the barn doors is to shape the light in such a way that it feels like a sunset peeking through curtains. Next, over here we have, I'm not really even sure what this is. I think it's a hue light in here. The purpose behind this light was I found that the plant needed a little bit of support. This plant was in the background and it just felt a little dark, so we didn't have any more lights that matched the tungsten vibe, so hue light. A light is a light. Over here, oh, and by the way, I'm putting links in the description below for all of these, so if any of these pique your interest and you're willing to help my channel out, you can check those links out below, and while you're down there, you can hit that subscribe button. Anyways, over here we've got an Astera pixel tube serving as a backlight, hair light of sorts, and also a fill because so far as you've seen, most of these lights are really for shape and texture. So this light is adding a nice fill to the rest of the table. We also have a Nova P300C over here, which again is adding a little bit more fill. I found that the bartender was a little bit dark on the left side of his face, but I didn't necessarily want to have like full fill because I do like that darkness. So by having this light behind the bartender, I'm able to give it sort of like a chin light where it shapes the jaw while additionally filling in a little bit. So that's what that light is doing. And last but not least, we have the Aperture 300D2, which is the only daylight light. The only daylight light in the setup. The idea behind this light is it's sort of providing this fill to the entire scene. It's bouncing off of the ceiling and just filling the entire scene. The camera is also set to 5600 Kelvin, so that's like neutral light and everything else is gonna look warm, which will add to that tropical vibe, sunset vibe. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. So the last thing I wanna discuss on my docket is the budget. And I'm not talking about personnel costs or gear costs because we do own most of the equipment, but we did have to make a few purchases in order to pull this off. So this is the breakdown. So we spent $275 on this table, which we wanted to get a specific table for the shoot. $75 for the bowl, the knife, and the bin that we made the big block of ice. $75 for the smoke machine rental, which to be honest, we really didn't use that much, but we did for the opening shot, so I guess there's that. And then we did spend $30 on a 35mm f1.4 prime rental, which is once again that establishing shot. And last but not least, $80 on all of this fruit. Fruit is not cheap, guys. And I did want to have this idea of like abundance where the fruit is spilling out of the bowl. I think it looks really good on camera, so $80 on fruit. That leaves our grand total at $535. Now granted, we will keep the table, we'll keep the bowl, the knife, and we're gonna eat the fruit. But the reason why I'm sharing this is because even for a budget production, which this was, you'd still need an operating budget. And that is where our money went to in order to make this what it was. Lastly, I wanna give a huge shout out to Choice. Choice was the bartender in the video. Not only is he a great guy, but he took direction like a champ. And on top of that, a lot of the glassware in the background belonged to him. If you enjoyed this content, guys, please leave me a thumbs up and subscribe. And if you do so, I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.